Hey everybody, welcome back to Rainman Tactical. On our next series of videos that we're going to do, we're moving from the pistol platform over to rifle, and we're going to just kind of have some basic discussions on the essentials, the fundamentals for rifle shooting. And we're going to be starting out with bench shooting, but the most important thing is before we even get started on rifle, the one thing you have to realize is you have to find out which is your dominant eye. Now, we talked about that a little bit in pistol training. Now, the dominant eye in pistol shooting is very forgivable. All you have to do is turn the pistol a 1/4 inch either way, and it lines up with either eye. Rifle shooting, not so forgiving. So before we even start on the fundamentals for rifle shooting, you have to make a choice as a shooter. If you're cross-eye dominant, which means you're right-handed, but your left eye is the better eye, you naturally gravitate to using your left eye, then you are cross-eye dominant. Works the same way if you're a left-handed shooter and you're using your right eye, you're cross-eye dominant. So in pistol shooting, it's an easy fix. 1/4 inch adjustment and you're switching eyes, not a big issue. In rifle shooting, it's different because rifles are shouldered. And because you only have to get your dominant eye over to the scope, you have to make a decision. If you're going to use your right hand, which is your dominant hand, and your left eye, you either have to shoot left-handed to use the left eye, which is dominant, or shoot right-handed to shoulder it right-handed and use your weak eye. So that's something you have to decide. How do you find out which eye is your dominant eye? I've got a really fast little secret to do. Real quick, easy test. Let's go do it. Okay, for finding out which is your dominant eye, a real simple test right now. So what you're going to do is make a little triangle with your hands. And make it about 1 inch wide, okay? Then what you're going to do is you're going to find an object out on the horizon. For right now, we're using a target. So the little white dot in the target, that's our focal point. So once you have your little triangle, extend your arms all the way out, and with both eyes open, stare at your point in the horizon. Then what you're going to do is quickly, in one motion, you're going to come up, find the dot, and then bring it to your face. Now, if you can see, if you do it quickly, it becomes a reflex. So everybody can see it's my right eye. So I'm right eye dominant. If you do it slowly, you're thinking through the process. Don't do it slowly. You're going to just come up, find it, and bring it to your face real quick. Bam, you found your dominant eye. Okay, so we're going to start with just some very simple basics. We're going to start with the bench setup because new rifle shooters tend to gravitate right over to a bench because, first off, it's the easiest way to learn how to shoot a rifle. So you have different positions in rifle. Prone while you're laying on your belly, squatting, kneeling, freestanding, and then bench shooting. Those are your basic 5 positions. So the easiest to learn is a bench shooting. Here we've got this beautiful, beautiful Howa bolt action. It's chambered in 223 Remington, so it's the 1500 model. I personally, for the bang for the buck, I love Howa rifles. They're precision, Japanese, and they're really nice. On the scope end of it, we've got the Athlon 4x12 on here. It's a 40 millimeter opening on the lens. I love this setup right here. It's real simple. Because it shoots 223, so you can interchange your ammunition between your AR, your 5.56 platform, and this right here. You can use the same ammo, except you have to make sure you're running 223 because this is not the wild version, so we can't use 5.56 in it. There's a pressure load difference. So in order to start this whole thing here, I am right-handed, right eye dominant. So I'm wired for one side. If you're wired for one side and your dominant hand and your dominant eye are on the same side, then you have a choice. You have to figure out which side of the bench you're on. So if I'm shooting on my right side, I'm going to be on the left side of the bench. So what's going to happen is I'm going to come over here and sit down because my right side, my right dominant eye, is now on the proper side of the rifle. If you're left-handed and left dominant eye, you're going to be on the other side. You're going to be on the right side of the bench using your left side onto the rifle. Okay, so basically what you want to do is, again, safety precautions on everything. Make sure that your range is clear. You know of everything downrange. So rifle rounds are a little different than pistol rounds. They go a lot farther. The safe rule is make sure you know what's downrange at least 2 miles on a rifle range, because these rounds will travel. If they ricochet, they're going to travel. So the biggest thing you want to start with is getting acclimated to the rifle itself. So a lot of folks will sit down and they'll start like this, and they'll face the rifle. The problem with this is most all of your scopes are what they call close eye relief scopes. So your eye needs to be about 3 fingers from the eyepiece. So if you're back here like this facing the rifle, facing downrange on your target, you can't get your eye over to the scope, okay? So what you have to do then is pull your shoulder back. So twist your body at 45 degrees approximately to the rifle, and what that does is it brings your eye right up to the three fingers. So one of the things that new rifle shooters seem to experience a lot, and that's when they're shooting, the scope comes back and knocks them right in the eye and cuts their eyebrow right there. And here's how you stop that. When that happens, several things took place. You did not have the butt of your stock pressed into your shoulder. My microphone fell off. So where were we? Okay, we were talking about getting too close to the scope. So here's how to stop that. Make sure your stock is pressed nice and tight into your shoulder. So when you get settled in on your rifle, you want this pressed nice in there. And the reason why is when you shoot, even if it's got a little bit more recoil than a .223 round, your shoulder's only going to give maybe about an inch. So if you've got a good 2 to 3 inches of eye space in here, your scope's only going to come back a ½ inch to an inch, and it's not even going to come close to your eye. And you have to have confidence about that, right? So if it happened to you before, get back behind the saddle on this thing and try it again. Just remember, keep the stock of your rifle pressed into your shoulder nice and firm. Okay, you don't have to do it so that you shake, but just nice and firm so that there's no space. Remember, air in here is real bad. Okay, air in here is real bad. So you're going to bring your eye close to the scope as a standard eye relief, and what you're looking for is a nice clear picture from one side of the screen of your scope to the other. Okay, if you get a fuzzy black ring that closes in from the sides, you're either too close or you're actually too far. So the fuzzy ring happens here and back here. But when you find that sweet spot right about in here, about 3 fingers away, you're going to see a crystal clear image from one side of the scope to the other. That tells you your eye is the correct distance away for the eye relief on this scope. Okay, so we've got our body turned a little bit to bring the stock farther back into the shoulder, and we're understanding that you have to keep the butt of the stock pressed into your shoulder nice and firmly and comfortably. Now the next thing that usually people ask about is, what do I do with my other hand? So I've got my grip, I've got my position, I've got my stock tucked into my shoulder. What do I do with this hand? Well, if you don't have a bipod, or if you don't have a brace supporting the front half of your rifle, then you're going to use the hand to support the front of the rifle for stability. But if you have a bipod, let's take advantage of the support that the bipod gives you and basic mathematics. So you've got your fulcrum point down here, and you've got the farther it is to the end of the barrel, the better and more accurate and stable your rifle is going to be. So let's take advantage of the bipod right now, and we don't need to waste our hand, our support hand, over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to bring this hand over to the stock, and we're going to help support and stabilize. Now watch where I've got my fingers. I've got my fingers on the outside of my arm, and the stock is in the webbing near my thumb, and my thumb is on the other side. So look at that. So there it is, nice and tucked in. Now, why I like this position is because this position on your rifle, you can use it on bench shooting, and if you're laying prone, you can use the same grip style while you're on the ground. Here's the cool thing about it. With your elbows on the tabletop or on the ground, that gives you the ability to go side to side, laterally, side to side. And that's a great way to do course adjustment on windage, side to side. These fingers right here with your grip like this on the back of the stock gives you the ability to fine-tune elevation by just tightening. So watch the rifle, see that? The rifle goes up and down just by squeezing my fingers. Now if you have to do course adjustment, you can use your spine. But I like to get the spine totally relaxed, get into position, adjust the bipod, put yourself on the target, and then use your fingers for the slight elevation adjustment. It's really cool. It's a really cool way to hold your rifle. It gives you total control, all of it controlled from the back of the rifle, the farthest point away from your bipod. Lots of stability in this grip. Okay, so let's take a moment here and talk about the grip position of your shooting hand, your strong hand. Where exactly should you have it? So some folks want to grab down here. I like to use a standard pistol grip. One grip, consistent on all firearms, is always a good thing. Less to remember. I like to come all the way up nice and high, all the way up nice and high. Now, with an AR semi-automatic platform, this is a great grip. Some people, because of the bolt and being able to cycle the bolt quickly, some folks like to bring that thumb over to the side, and when you're shooting, they're able to come up, grab the bolt, bring it back and down, and then return without having to get that thumb back up underneath the other side of the grip. So it's an option. If this feels good or if this feels good, you choose which one. I like to use just the standard pistol grip unless I'm speed shooting with a bolt action and I want that real fast reload, eject and rechamber real fast. Then I'll bring my thumb to the outside and I can cycle a bolt action a little faster. Not an issue with semi-automatic, so go ahead and remain at your standard pistol grip. That's a great way to go. Okay, folks, we're going to take a couple shots now, and what I want you to do is just kind of watch the position of the body, watch how I settle in, watch where I place my eye, the distance away from there, and then we're going to keep the camera right on here, and I want you to watch how far the scope comes back, because again, knowing all of this and the mechanics gives you more confidence to shoot, and the more confident you are in your shot and the position and the basics that you practice as fundamentals, the better you're going to be able to concentrate on where your focus point needs to be, right? So let's go ahead. We're going to take a couple of shots here, and all we're doing right now is we're just trying to watch how far the recoil comes back. Again, this is a .223 Remington, so it's not a very powerful round, but it is, your small caliber rifle, high power rifle round. So let's just go ahead and we're going to take this first shot. We're going to come back and we're going to just take two shots. And I just want you to watch how far the scope comes back to the face while we take the shot. So I'm going back and forth. Okay, I see a black ring. Got to come forward. Totally open. I'm too close. I see another black ring. So right there. That's my point. Let's go ahead and take this shot. Okay, let's go ahead and take one more shot. Again, focus in, watch the eye relief. Okay, too far back. There we go. Nice open window. Beautiful, crystal clear side to side. Here we go. Beautiful. Okay, so there you go. I mean, it's this is the first of the rifle video, so it's kind of real simple. We're going to get into a lot more about the ballistics, how to keep a dope book, how to compare your ammo, how to harmonize ammo to the rifle, some cool tricks about learning things about your floating rail, where to put your bipod. We've got a lot of other topics to cover in rifle. It's a lot more complicated than pistol shooting, but we're going to have fun at it. Thanks again for coming out and looking at our Rainman tactical videos. Hit subscribe and join us again for the next one.